宫古岛八重山地区，北海道日本海沿岸南部，陆奥湾，有的地方可能会出现2米左右的海浪。沿岸附近的人，请立即到地。
Okay, that was a scene in CNN's Tokyo Bureau earlier today at 2:22 p.m. local time. My colleague, my producer there in Japan, Junko Ogura, is running to her desk there. You can see that in the video. The 8.9 magnitude quake, it was the most powerful earthquake that hit Japan in at least 100 years. And do keep in mind, its epicenter is 400 kilometers away from Tokyo, and yet this is what it looked like in the Japanese capital. And since that initial 8.9 magnitude quake, there have been more than 30 aftershocks. About 1 hour after the quake hit, CNN began to live stream some extraordinary images of the advancing tsunami along Japan's northeastern coast. Homes, ships, cars, all being washed away in the torrent as people tried to escape. Not everyone got away in time. You can see there vehicles left bobbing in the wake of the waves. When we started to see these pictures from the air, the scale of the disaster there in Sendai, very close to the epicenter, the scale of the destruction became frighteningly apparent. There it is, that wall of water and debris tearing across agricultural land in Miyagi Prefecture in northeastern Japan, ripping homes from their foundations. And as if the devastation wasn't complete, just look at this footage of what is now a wall of sludge, leaving some of the few remaining buildings engulfed by flames. We have seen some destructive images on CNN over the years, but few will be able to recall watching anything quite as jaw-dropping as this unfolding before their eyes. It is little surprise that these events have had a crippling effect on Japan's transport system. And I want to show you some footage from the airport in Sendai. Again, that is the closest city to the epicenter in northeast Japan. It is not just aircraft that are going nowhere. On the roof of the building, which has effectively become an island, you can see many people there. They're standing, they're stranded, they're waiting for help. Even some 400 kilometers south in Tokyo, all flights in and out of Narita International Airport have been canceled. The times of departures board have been wiped and replaced with one word, indefinite. Thousands of people were left stranded at the airport, but millions were affected when the Tokyo Metro was forced to close. About 6 million people use it every day, meaning a long journey home for many and a night at the office for many, many more. Now, we are told, though, that some transportation services are back up and running now. The quake is the most powerful to hit Japan in at least 100 years, and there is increasing concern about the state of the country's nuclear power plants. The IAEA says that there is a heightened state of alert at Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, but they say a fire at the Onagawa nuclear plant has been extinguished. Japan's Prime Minister says no radioactive leaks have been reported, and the UN Nuclear Watchdog Agency says 4 power plants close to the quake have been successfully shut down. We showed you some fires just a moment ago, but nothing compared to this. This was the scene at the Cosmo Oil Refinery in Chiba that is just outside Tokyo. This video filmed a few hours ago. Now, a storage tank can be seen below, billowing smoke and flames, and we are being told that this blaze is still burning now. The plant was forced to close, and this, combined with other closures, has impacted oil prices as far away as the United States. Peter Salmons is a professor of geophysics at University College London, and we asked him if this was the big earthquake Japan has been bracing for. The wall of water and debris washing away entire homes. CNN's Kim Long has spent the day in Tokyo, and while it's some 400 kilometers from the quake epicenter, it certainly was not immune. And she joins us now live from Tokyo. Kyung, it is nightfall. Set the scene for us there in the capital. Well, I can tell you that it's basically system paralysis. We're trying to make our way up north to where where you're seeing all those tsunami pictures, and just trying to get out of Tokyo is a challenge because everyone is in their car trying to move, trying to get out in a city that heavily relies on public transportation. People are still walking around. There are reports that people have just decided to camp out in the train stations overnight. But, you know, that's kind of what they're being forced to do because many people live an hour, 2 hours outside of Tokyo and commute on a regular basis. Because the quake did hit in the middle of the afternoon, what we saw here in Tokyo was primarily that system paralysis, transportation issues. We're seeing clogged roads. There's been some minor damage reported in the most populous city in Japan, 13 million people who live here in Tokyo. But clearly, the biggest crisis is what's happening to the north of us, that tsunami. From what we're seeing in the local press here and local television images, the big concern right now is that the tsunami has come ashore. It's now pulling back. And so there's that damage effect that's going to happen once all of that debris and water starts sucking back in. So there's a lot of concern by authorities that they can't get in until that tsunami sort of pulls back. And a lot of concern by the agencies of how exactly to get in there because it's nightfall and because it is so cold. You know, we have seen the video of some of the stranded victims, tsunami and earthquake victims there in Sendai. They're stranded in the second level of their homes. They're actually surrounded by water.
They need help, and the Japanese authorities and civil defense armed forces, they undertake regular drills because obviously it's a very earthquake-prone country. And they have stockpiles of supplies, they have materials, they have systems in place because in this kind of context, coordination is absolutely vital. You can't just have anyone going in there, dropping food randomly because it creates sort of chaos. So it's absolutely vital that we get the response right. And the Japanese Red Cross is very much part of that.
And the interesting thing is that we're just showing their pictures again of the roads that have been pretty much sliced apart. And I'm sorry, Patrick, if you can just stand by one second. We're just getting this information that the Japanese the government is now forcing some 2,000 residents near the nuclear plant of Fukushima to evacuate. And of course, the big question is, where do they go? But also getting to them, because when you're seeing the infrastructure there being devastated is a huge and very difficult prospect.
Absolutely, and this is one of the main challenges we face. We certainly faced it in 2004 in Indonesia, where we had to bring in special trucks which are actually designed off-road travel to meet the needs in some of the most remote areas. So we use trucks, we use boats, we use helicopters, we use any kind of means to get in from these areas and help people.
All right, Patrick, thank you very much.
Live coverage from our helicopter up in northern Miyagi Prefecture, where a tsunami obviously coming in several sweeps.
A devastating tsunami reached over 7 meters. Major tsunami alerts for waves of over 10 meters remain in place for many other parts of the country. Buildings and cars have been left.
Force of how what looks like a passive Pacific Ocean, almost out of a tourist brochure, going along, and it is incredible force, and it hits the land, and it goes from seawater to sludge.
This is Hachinohe City at 4:30 p.m. and we can observe the tsunami hitting the port.
About as far away as Tokyo, 400 kilometers further south.
To earthquakes, the shock and magnitude of this one were too obvious as people spilled out onto the streets of Japan's cities and tried to comfort one another.
Walking into the office from the balcony from a phone call, and somebody said quake didn't really kicked in big time. And we didn't wait around too long before we all headed for the stairs and out of the building.
We're on the third floor, so
Sendai, as it became inundated, flights have been able to leave low-lying areas, but these people, it all happened too quickly. For now, a country with some of the most advanced measures in the world for unfolding.
Tsunamis